with terms being flung around such as toxic masculinity, simp, sigma, alpha, and high value to describe today's man, it's no wonder men are leaving church, home, and male society. Is all this negative talk about men driving genuinely real and good men into extinction, or at least on the verge of being replaced? In this video today, I'm addressing the pressing question, are real men becoming extinct? And although this is for the men, ladies, if you listen closely, you might just learn something.
I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You don't want the truth. You have that luxury.
Hello, guys. Dr. B here, and thank you for joining me for another session of Truth Time, where we seek to bring you truth from a biblical and conscious perspective to help you grow in God and apply His Word to the world around you. Very quickly, before we get into it, if you're first time here on the channel, welcome to BAME TV. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you won't miss any of our next videos. And to all my returning subscribers, welcome back, and thank you so much for your continued support. So let's get into it today. Are real men becoming extinct, or at least on the verge of being replaced? You know, it's very interesting because I've had some conversations this weekend with men, and I've been spending the past few weeks talking to men about men's topics and men's issues. And this is what I promised I was going to be doing in this month. Because society, specifically certain women and some questionable men in society, are taking it upon themselves to redefine the status and even attributes of what a real man is today. And this is why I've been having conversations, because I want to hear from men. What are their thoughts about what's happening and taking place concerning the re-identification of manhood? We have men who look like women today, act like and wear makeup like women, men who are YouTube beauty influencers. What the world is that? But yet they say an alpha male is toxic. What in the world is really going on? If you've been listening to the new lingo, you hear terms such as toxic masculinity, simp, sigma, alpha, and high value when referring to men today. But what do these terms mean, and are they valid? Let's start with what is toxic masculinity. The problem is, if only anyone could actually agree on what toxic masculinity actually means. I believe as the result of this term, many of these others have begun to surface to soften the blow to the strength of the male standard. In many circles, the phrase has been used as an adjective to describe all men, or simply as a reference to a certain type of man, or instead just a certain type of behavior of a man, often negatively. And when they speak of it, it could mean that this is a violent man or a sexual assaulted man, or it could be a man that is spreading his manhood to other men. It's interesting because according to a certain way of thinking, opening a door for a woman is an act of benevolent sexism. If a man shows a woman some courtesy, some emotion, opens a door, shows any type of chivalry, he may be considered a simp. Men are hating on men if they show women kindness, sensitivity, and love. It's becoming so ridiculous. That's really the toxicity that's happening and taking place. Toxic masculinity, according to some women, is an apprehensive relationship with a man. And conversely, have men been running for the hills because of the negative labeling that they've been receiving from women and even other men? Additionally, terms such as simp and sigma have young boys who haven't even earned their manhood questioning their makeup and their time and stature in society. Even grown men are having to protect their manhood today. But when they feel that their manhood is threatened, being taken away once they've earned it, they find themselves lashing out or even acting irrationally. It's time men rediscover ways to be a man and not feel ashamed for doing so. If you ask the average woman today, what type of man are you looking for? After about 30 minutes or so, she'll probably complete her description with a breed of man that doesn't exist except in some imagination or some fantasy or some reality TV show that she's seen. Some visualize the ideal man as a strong, healthy, well-dressed, well-groomed man, aggressive, successful, dependable, responsible, a business person. Others picture someone adventurous, exciting, romantic. and autistic. Either way, he's a man that's interested in all things and excels at most. That's usually the bottom line. They want a man that's just everything. He loves only one woman, but he can charm them all. They don't mind him flirting as long as he comes home to them. It's crazy out there today. He's a man who's in touch with his feelings. And most excellent of all, a man is a spiritual leader in his life and his home. He takes care and supports his family. However, have you ever met anyone who fits all the descriptions on all the lists that all the women have? If not, take heart, ladies and gentlemen, no one has. These kinds of men that are put together in this reality syndrome in the mind of people, they're not born, created, or invented. They're molded and made. Let that sink in, because society wants to paint a picture for us that these are the ideal men that they're putting before us. But remember, these are actors. These are role players. These are people who've got a script on what to do and how to do and when to do. And for most of us as men, we don't have that kind of script, especially if we don't have another man in our life that we can model our life after. The thought of a real man prompted me to take a deeper look into God's word and pull on my many years of experience mentoring men. And it led me to ask myself this very one question: who is or what is a real man? What kind of characteristics does he exhibit? For starters, the ideal man who is genuinely real is not a perfect man by any means. Rather, he's a maturing man. He's a man that's still striving to become a man. He's a studying man, a learning man. But most of all, he's a man who seeks the Father with all of his heart, soul, mind, and strength, so that he can find out who he was created and meant to be. And that is like God and in the image of God, and do the same things God was capable and able of doing. In no stretch of the imagination, he's not arrived at his goal, but he's a man that's on his way to becoming the man society needs to be the solution to its problems. He's on his way to becoming the husband his wife is longing for, and the father his children so desperately need. He's a man on the most exciting journey of his life. He's learning to be a balanced, Christ-centered man, the total man God created him to be. A man pursuing his purpose and call in life as seen through the image of God, the Creator. So, are real men becoming extinct? I choose to believe not, but I do believe what it means to be a man is being replaced with false images of manhood. Therefore, to every man out there, I want to encourage you that it's time for genuine men to stand up and be authentic by being the type of man God created you to be, and not what society is attempting to redefine you to become. You have been created in the image of God as Adam, and as an Adam, as the firstborn, as those that have come from the ground and the earth, and then from the breath of God. Only he can help you become who it is he has seen in his mind's eye of you becoming. And that is like his first, and then like his last, the only begotten, Yeshua, the Christ, who was what? Obedient to every word and every command of his Father, to only do what he saw his Father do, to only say what he heard his Father say, and to become what it is his Father desired him to become, not what the people and the world and the system around him wanted him to become, but to be who he was always meant to be. And you can only do that when you find your place in God. Man, I believe in you. I am man, and so are you. Today, find your place in God and fill it. And then let society measure up to your standard of who God says you are in him, and not lower yourself to become what they and others want you to become, to be like that. I hope this video was helpful to you today, and that you're going to share it with every man in your life. If you haven't already, would you consider subscribing to the channel? Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts, suggestions for more content, and check out these next videos for more truth. I want to thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep walking in truth. Shalom.